yeah, I need to invest so that I can buy more makeup because it's really freaking expensive. Like, Jesus. This is $80. Yeah, let's just get started. I'm already moisturized, but I'm just gonna use the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I got started in real estate investing in my early 20s. I bought my first house when I was 20 years old. It was only $149,000, which is crazy for a detached home. Just small, 2-bed, 1 bath, less than 900 square feet. People really need to stop thinking that, oh, I'm not gonna buy until I can buy my dream home. No, okay? You know when you get your dream home? When you're like 40, okay, or 50. Stop making it such a big priority where you're just, oh, I'm just not gonna buy. Well, if you don't buy something, then the market goes up and you missed out. We bought our first home, 20 years old, no help from family, did not get given a down payment. We do not have inheritances. We do not have trust funds, nothing like that. I was making $15 an hour. Okay, like that's really hard to do for sure. I mean, the number one thing is that you should be investing in yourself, right? Because you can't invest in real estate or stocks or anything unless you've invested in yourself first. So you need to be able to have a job that pays you enough that you can save enough that you can actually go and buy something. But I really want to make this point that who cares about putting 20% down? It doesn't matter. Okay, people are like, oh, I don't want to pay the mortgage insurance. It's such a waste. I'll just wait. I'll just wait to save up till I have 20%. Well, then what's going to happen is it's going to take you, okay, so 5% is a quarter of the amount of 20%, right? That's like simple math. So it's going to take you 4 times as long to save for that down payment. And the market's going to increase and then you're just going to have to save more. Just do it. The second you have 5% down plus a little bit more for closing costs, buy right now, and buy something small, just enough that you can, live in. It's not falling down. Obviously, don't buy a house that you need to tear down because that's a bad investment. Buy something that's, cheap, 2-bed, 1 bath, in a decent neighborhood. Buy something that only really needs like cosmetic fixes. You don't want to have to go and replace the roof and the furnace and fix foundations or anything like that when you're first getting started because that is expensive. When I first bought, I wasn't a real estate agent. I wasn't an investor. I was 20 years old, just newly married. Everybody was like, oh, that's such a small house. Maybe you should get a little bit more. And I'm like, I don't care. I just wanted my own house. And at that point, I wasn't necessarily thinking about investing in the future. This investing journey for me kind of just happened. That's how I started, and that is almost going to be 10 years ago because I'm turning 30 in a couple weeks. And when I look back from when I was 20, how little I knew then, where I look at myself now, turning that I'm, 10 years later, I've just signed an offer on my 4th property. That's something I did not think was in the cards for me. I did not come from a family that invested in any way. They're homeowners, but that's it. That's typical, right? You have one home and you live in it and you put some money away in an account for retirement. I personally have made a way better return on my money in real estate than I ever would have in stocks in 10 years. This is where I'm saying I think that you should be starting with real estate first. There are many, many, many different avenues, which I would really like to make this a series where I talk about specific things and then we do a fun makeup look. And I think that more women need to be talking about this. It's like, oh, that's not ladylike. Don't talk about money, right? Don't talk about how much money you have or you make or you invest or whatever. And it's like, why? So that other people can't learn this as well? I don't know. I think that it needs to be more, talked about 100%. Oh my God.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, I'll make that work. That was not supposed to go there. That was supposed to go down here. We'll fix that. It's really, really blendable. So I don't know. I just like got in my head talking and got totally distracted. Oh my God. It's fine. It's fine. It'll just be like we'll just do like a darker, like a super bronzy look instead. So currently I am a real estate agent, but I was not a real estate agent when I bought my first rental property and became a landlord for the very first time. I'm just saying, like, you do not need to go to school for anything to do this. You do not. You can do this, and you can do this, you know, if you have a good enough paying job that you can qualify for a mortgage and you're able to save that 5% down by yourself, do it. If you need to do this with a friend or partner, like, do that, or your spouse, like, definitely home ownership should be your number one priority. I think people think it's not in the cards for them, but it definitely is. And if you can just live a little bit frugal earlier in life, you will be so thankful. Like, my 20-year-old self is so thankful for where I am now in my close to my 30s. I'm not 30 yet. I've got 2 more weeks, okay. But I'm not scared of being 30, but you know, it's just like one of those things. My 20s is gone. It's gone. Like, I mean, I didn't waste it. I definitely have stuff to show for it. That's something that you want to think about. You do not want to be 30 and looking at your life and saying, I have worked for over a decade and I have nothing to show for it. You don't want to be like that. My goal in the next couple years is to have $1 million net worth. You need to start making goals. How am I going to get there? And I want to help inspire other women to realize this is a possibility for them, and they do not need to have gone to university or to have had an inheritance or, you know, help from like anyone specifically. Like, you can always, there's nothing wrong with getting help. That is amazing if you can get help. But I'm just saying, it's totally possible. I see this as a real estate agent all the time. People do not want to buy a home that isn't like their dream. They don't want to start off small. They're like, well, if I'm going to go through all of this and all this stress, I'm just going to buy the biggest, best thing I can get. I'm just going to tell you right now, do not do that. Go buy a little 2-bed, 1-bath, scrounge up that 5%. Like, what is that? What's a 2-bed, 1-bath in your area? A little attached townhome. How much is that? In my area, just say it's like $300,000 starting. If you're able to put 5% down, that's $15,000. I promise you, you can save that. And if you can't, get a better job, work more hours, do something. Just realize that this is the be all and end all. This is how it all starts, okay? This amount of money will help you become a millionaire. I feel so strongly about this because I want more people and more women to realize that there's more wealth out there. How I started actually investing in real estate, not just owning a house. Once you own that home, you know, you have to do some cosmetic fixes. Maybe paint, change the carpet because it's like disgusting shag carpet from the 70s. Maybe you can change like the kitchen counters, paint the cupboard. There are so many little things that you can do that do not cost you a lot of money and will increase the value of your home tremendously. So as you own this home and you're paying down the mortgage, then in a couple years, you will have equity built up. So, you know, you only put 5% down. Okay, well, whatever. You had to pay the mortgage insurance. Once it's amortized over 30 years, that don't matter anyway. Okay? We're just not going to care about that because you will never have to pay mortgage insurance again. You pay it one time on your very first house. So once you've lived in that house for a couple years, it might take you 2, 3, or 4 years for the market to go up in your area. It depends. It could happen in a year. It really depends on what your market is like, how quickly those values are going to escalate. But for me, I lived in that house for 4 years. So I didn't become a landlord until I was 24, even though I bought at 20 years old. It just kind of happened by accident. We just had our house and the market hadn't elevated as much as we had hoped. We couldn't sell our house for as much as we thought. And this is before I was a real estate agent. So I hired somebody. I hired a realtor to sell my house. It wouldn't sell. And I was like, well, okay, we can't sell this home in this market. But values had still gone up because we had renovated it. And we had equity because we had been paying our mortgage down, every month for the last 4 years. So we were actually able to pull out enough money from that house by refinancing it, leveraging. You leverage your property and you use it to buy another property. That is what we did. We took every inch of savings that we had, everything, to buy this other house, which is actually currently the house that I still live in now from when I was 24. Because we just love it here. Like, I don't want to move. You can do this without using your own money from now on. So your very first purchase, you need to save up enough, yes. And you need to find a way to do that, to live on less or to make more. And it's totally possible. It's hard. To get started is hard. The beginning of everything is hard. You have to stop fearing the unknown. You have to just do it. Homeowners have way higher net worths than renters. That is just fact. You have to be a homeowner and you will get rich with real estate. And I'm talking like long term. I am not a flipper. I do not flip houses. I have never sold one of my properties. I buy them and I keep them. You take out this money on your very first property, the one that you bought that was this little cute 2-bed, 1-bath. And you know what? It's going to be easy to rent because it's going to be a cheaper house, a wide array of tenants applying to rent. Vet your tenants. You pick somebody great. They move in. And then you put all that money you pulled out of your house and you put that down on your new house that you're going to go live in. And there's a couple things that you can do from this point. So now this is your first time being a landlord, okay? So you're gonna have to learn the ropes of that, which I definitely have some stories for you guys if you wanna hear more about being a landlord and what that's like. I currently have 3 tenants, so I can tell you a little bit about how that goes and what I like, what I dislike, some advice, all that stuff like in another video. But from that point, now you're living in this new house and maybe that's a bigger house, the 3-bed, 2-bath or a 4-bed, 3-bath or something, right? Well, you can choose to do the same thing, live in it for a couple years, fix it up, and then refinance that, leverage that, take out money on that, and then buy another property, which you can then move to. Or what we did was we actually took out that money, we bought a duplex that already had tenants there. You're able to use the amount of rent that they pay for you to qualify to purchase that property. So the bank knows you're not going to move into it. You're purchasing it for an investment specifically. And basically you just buy that property and you can inherit the tenants. Now that comes with its pluses and minuses because sometimes tenants are great because they've lived there for years and they don't want to move. And sometimes, they're not so great and you have some issues. So, if this was easy and no work, like obviously everyone would be doing it. It is work and you just still have to work your full-time job. We property manage our own properties. I own $1.5 million worth of property. They have escalated tremendously. We bought our first house for $149,000. It currently in our market is worth $400,000. So the amount of equity I have in that home is huge. Even after I took out all of this money to go buy more. So I know that there's so many investors, like people in YouTube community, especially men, and nothing wrong with like male investors. I follow a ton of them. Like I love watching Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin and Andre Jick. Like they are some of my favorites and they're really amazing investors who are men and have grown their net worth to the millions. And that's really, really inspiring. I just kind of want there to be more of an inspiring presence for females on YouTube. And who doesn't like a good get ready with me? Plus, you can learn a little bit about how to invest. And I do not believe in over leveraging yourself too much, you always need to be keeping 20% in your properties. Once you already have your initial home at 5%, that's the last time you're ever going to do that. Now, every other home you buy is going to be like 20 to 30% down, which you're going to take from that first property. It's not even your money, which is amazing. Like, people are like, oh, I don't have money to buy more stuff. Do you have a house? Have you lived in the house for a while? How much money do you have in that house? A couple $100,000 in equity that you've paid down, or the market's fluctuated like crazy? You have the money to do it right now, which is crazy. Like, you do. You can do it. Like, I'm telling you to do it now. Say you bought your house, what'd you buy it for? Like $200,000, and it's worth $450 now. Well, you don't have to pay fees to sell your house. To obviously talk to a mortgage broker about this, and then talk to a local real estate agent about the market, about, you know, what homes are available, what are rentals like, what are vacancy rates like, what are the market rents. You know, they're going to be able to help you. And yes, there are still good deals. People back even 5-10 years ago, a $500,000 house, people thought you could only afford that if you were very, very well off. Like, that would have been like, whoa, that's a nice house. Now you should see what $500,000 gets you in a lot of areas. Not a lot. So I totally get it where people are saying, well, how the hell am I going to start if that's starting price? But it's not starting price for a lot of places. Maybe consider moving slightly out of the expensive area. Maybe commute for a little bit. Live somewhere that's a little bit cheaper, where the starting price is maybe like $300,000. Or buy something that is less than the average. So something quite a bit smaller, a home that's quite a bit older, a little town home. I don't really like condos that much. I don't like the fees. Condos are the first thing to drop when a market goes bad. So, you know, I would stay away from condos. I don't mind townhomes that have like maybe a common element fee just for like private roads and whatever, but they're a freehold home that you fully own. It's totally up to you where you want to start, but you can still find deals. And people tell me they can't. I showed a property to a interested person. They didn't want it because it was just like, you know, it's just too small or it's too ugly. Who cares? They didn't own anything. If you don't own anything, you're never going to build any equity. Stop letting fear and, oh, like, I don't know how to do this. You can ask somebody. You can call a mortgage broker or your real estate agent. Like, call a real estate agent that also is an investor. So, you know, I have a lot of investor clients who actually really like to work with somebody else who is an investor, because I actually know what to tell them, what the market's like, my experience with tenants and what they should watch out for, what needs to be in the offer, what they should be offering, what the market rents are in the area. If you want to get started investing, call a local real estate agent to help you start looking for homes. Maybe ask them if they have investing experience themselves, and that's kind of what you're looking for. I love it. I love working with investors. I mean, if any of you are in Ontario, north of Toronto, I work north of Toronto. Call me up. Give me a message. I will help you buy your first investment property. And the reason is that I always look for investment properties, but I can't buy them all the time. Currently, where I am right now, I'm only buying about a property every 2 years. I think that that's a good goal to have. I am no one special. Like, it's just about risk. It's about taking that risk of that unknown and doing it anyway. So I'm just gonna finish up by putting a little bit of this Fenty Gloss Bomb. Whoa, that is ultra pink. I should have maybe picked a different lip gloss, but you know. It is what it is. It's fine. Looks good. So comment down below, what do you want to know in regards to buying your first house, buying your first investment property, being a landlord, how you're going to get this money, about how to grow your wealth. If you have questions like that, please leave them down below and I will be happy to make videos with answers. Subscribe and like.